Every day it gets more difficult to find a YouTube video to watch while eating. Well, this could be the video. I ended the last episode to a cliffhanger. Did we make it? Of course we didn't make it. Or did we? Boondy. After spending countless of hours in the gym and seeing very little progress towards the end, it's time to form an exit plan from the gym and move on to new challenges within sports. However, there are still some very specific exercises I want done before moving on. It's time to go all in with calisthenics. Calisthenics is a sport in which you do bodyweight exercises without fancy equipment. In this list I have gathered 6 different levels of calisthenics mastery. Those are easy, medium, hard, elite, master and grandmaster accordingly. I'm giving myself 1 year to complete all 6 levels. The most important goal is the plans, even at the cost of another levels. Most of the levels will be auto-completed on the way, since they are prerequisites for plans. In order to gain motivation, I decided to make my road to calisthenics Grandmaster public. The end result will be plans or bust. There are no in-betweens. Hello. I decided to change my video language to English because I thought that this subject of calisthenics is in a way universal, so everyone can enjoy it and I don't have to make English subtitles. I only make Spanish subtitles now. And also, for example, if my video was about taxis in Finland, then it wouldn't make sense to do it in English because all the information would be very Finnish related, so talking about it in English and not in Finnish wouldn't make sense because there's no audience in someone, or very little audience in people who want to hear about that kind of Finnish stuff in English. Yeah. And also I decided to try and change my channel's name because it has one of the Nordic alphabets Ö, and I think it would be pretty difficult to find my channel even if you tried to. And there was one other guy with a very similar name that I wanted to do. So now I'm trying to change it. I think it's possible to some kind of Bondi, like my nickname, and have some kind of number series behind that because I'm pretty sure that one's taken as well. And those are the news on a general level. And about this episode, volume 2, the Road to Calisthenics Grandmaster. Today is 27th of March and I began my journey at 14th of March. So today is day 13 if I calculated right and remembered right the start date. I actually, before my evening shift, I just came from my shift to home, completed level 1 or the easy tier, which of course was the muscle up. We are gonna roll the clip next, and in the clip I kinda keep it together, trying not to look too excited because that's what you do on a public place when there might be people watching. But yeah, I definitely felt good and now we must celebrate. Yes. But it's not clean form, you kept. Yeah, I know. But muscle up is on the easy tier for a reason, because it is pretty easy and you can, in a way, cheat it. But I wouldn't consider that cheating, because muscle up is literally just getting your body over the bar using your body and not jumping off the ground, for example. It was a muscle up. And let's see me keep with the plans, right? That's not going to work, and that's why it's a Grandmaster tier movement. And then my advice on how to get your first muscle up done. And the advice is to avoid the traditional tips, which are something like be consistent, and if you can do 10 pull ups, you can do a muscle up. Because that is obviously true, but how is that going to help someone who is consistent and can do 10 pull ups but can't do the muscle up? That's false hope. You aren't benefiting anything from that information. And I wrote down how my form progressed and what were the points that I failed on every time. So there are 7 points, and I'm actually going to get my mop from the shower so I can demonstrate some of these. Be right back. So here's the mop. My first tip is the hollow body hang. So your body has to be, in a way, this C letter, so it gets easier to do the muscle up. Because if you are holding your back arched, how is this going to ever work? It's not going to work because the physics say no. Your center of mass will never be able to get on top of the bar if you keep your back arched like this. But if you are actually arching the other way, your center of mass is very much it is very much easier to get it over the bar. So hollow body hang, tip number 1. And then tip number 2 is wrist position. And some people tell you to use fake grip, which means your hands go over the bar very much, and then it gets easier to pull yourself over. But what this did for me is it limits how much my wrists can pull, or it takes away strength because it reduces my range of motion. So if I just take the normal grip, I would be able to pull a lot better. Which brings us to the third point. It is that because you don't hang like this and you hang like this, you will have to change your wrist position as you move on the bar. So when you are pulling up, at some point you're gonna have to turn your wrists, but you can't do that right from the beginning because it will probably not work. And then remember to keep your thumb like this, not like this, because when you get over the bar, you will just hit your face. Your grip will slip. Fourth point is the kipping motion, in which legs are driven to your chest in order to gain momentum. And I will play a clip of that next. So here it is. I gain so much momentum with driving my legs really up to the chest, and the actual attempt is actually pretty close. So fifth point, timing. And this would be combining all the other things together in one. So from the beginning. First, hollow body hang, the letter C. Then normal grip, thumbs on the opposite side than the other fingers. And then pulling with back, keeping, bringing your knees to the chest, Then you gain momentum and turning wrists, pulling your body on top of the bar. And this must be done in this order. And which makes this part hard is it needs to be intuition. This is the only place where you need repetitions. And I know I talked bull on consistency earlier, but I want to make my point that this is the most difficult thing. So you should only be consistent with this, not with gaining more pull-ups repetitions, because you are already strong enough. Timing is like staying in rhythm. You can't brute force it or think it with logic. It is something you learn by heart. So once you get the timing right, it's really simple. And of course, at the end, when you have your chest on top of the bar, you just push down, do a dip. That's like 5% of the work. You don't need to think about that. Then, point 6, head position. This is something I have not heard anyone talk about. And maybe it's not about the head position so much, because when doing the hollow body hang, your head is in a way tilted in front. But it's the eyes, where your eyes are looking. So don't look down, because then you are not seeing where you are about to go. So when you look up, you lose your subconscious fear of hitting your head to the bar. And also when you are looking at the bar on top of you, you are having your sight where you are about to go, just in a way that when you would turn to the left, you would turn your body and eyes to the left already, because your body will go where your eyes are looking with ease. So maybe it's just this a bit more subconscious tip which helps, but I found it very helpful. And also it changes your head position slightly, and head is very heavy, about 10 kilograms. So of course the position which it is in will greatly affect your end result. So you can play with that as well. I know it's been a long video and I made myself coffee, but this is the 7th and last point. And after figuring this out, I was able to do the muscle up. So I did the exact thought process that I just described here. And the last thing is the width of your hands. So think about it from the extremes. And this is something that I learned from my brother, and it works in many other real life cases too. So if I had the widest possible grip that my body can do, well, this is not the widest, but you get the point. How could I pull myself on top of the bar? It's just not going to work, because you can't generate any momentum when your hands are already at the extreme angles and corners where they can even go. But then, so that's the first extreme, having your hands as wide as they are, or they can be. So no way you are going to do the muscle up that way. Then the other extreme is your hands are closed like this. You get huge momentum pulling up, but of course don't go to the total extreme, just a little bit close to the extreme, but not that. So what I'm trying to say in general, less wide grip is usually better. So find what suits you, but if you are completing every step and every earlier step and still can't get it, consider making your grip narrower. There it finally is, my entire video. I'll make some kind of intro clip later, but now I'm going to get rid of this mob and go to the city center and get some beers. See you on the LCD video, or maybe some form of progress towards it, or I don't know, maybe something about the cheat codes I talked about in the last video.